iOS 26.2. Most people scroll past iOS updates without a second thought. A notification appears, a download happens overnight, and by morning, life continues exactly the same. But iOS 26.2 is not one of those updates. This is the kind of release that doesn't try to impress you in the first 5 minutes, because its real impact shows up slowly, quietly, and consistently over time. By the end of this video, you're going to understand why iOS 26.2 may be one of the most important updates Apple has released in years, even though most users still have no idea what actually changed. Apple has reached a point where updates are no longer about adding more features. They're about refining behavior. iOS 26.2 is built around that philosophy. It's about making your iPhone feel more personal, more predictable, and more reliable without constantly reminding you that something new is happening. This update doesn't ask for attention, but it earns it the longer you use your device. And that's exactly why we need to talk about it in detail. Before we go deeper, take a moment to think about how you actually use your iPhone every day. You don't use every feature equally. Some apps are open dozens of times, others once a week. Some actions are repetitive, others are rare. iOS 26.2 finally acknowledges this reality in a way previous versions never fully did. The system now adapts to your habits instead of forcing a one-size-fits-all experience. This shift alone changes how your phone feels from morning to night. Performance in iOS 26.2 isn't about raw speed numbers or benchmarks. It's about consistency. Apps open when you expect them to. Animations don't stutter when your storage is nearly full. Multitasking feels smoother even on older devices. Apple has quietly reworked task scheduling, allowing the system to prioritize what you're most likely to do next. This makes the phone feel faster without actually pushing the hardware harder. Battery life is where many users first notice something is different. iOS 26.2 doesn't just react when your battery gets low. It predicts usage patterns hours in advance. If the system learns that you typically charge your phone late at night, it adjusts power consumption earlier in the day. Background processes are delayed intelligently, and apps you rarely open stop consuming unnecessary energy. The result is battery life that feels longer without any visible sacrifices. What makes this especially impressive is how invisible it all feels. There are no constant warnings, no aggressive restrictions, and no obvious performance drops. The phone simply behaves better. This is Apple leaning heavily into machine learning, but in a way that serves the user instead of advertising itself. Animations and UI responsiveness have also been refined across the system. Scrolling feels more fluid, transitions are more consistent, and touch input feels slightly more immediate. These changes may sound small, but they add up over thousands of interactions per day. iOS 26.2 removes friction you didn't even realize was there. If you're finding value in this breakdown so far, take a second to like the video. It helps more people discover content like this, and it lets me know you want deeper, long-form explanations instead of quick summaries. One of the biggest evolutions in iOS 26.2 is intelligence without interruption. Apple's approach to AI here is fundamentally different from what other companies are doing. Instead of flashy chatbots or constantly popping suggestions, iOS 26.2 improves understanding in the background. Siri is the best example of this. Conversations feel more natural because Siri now tracks context more reliably. You can refer to people, apps, and actions without repeating yourself, and responses feel less robotic. This intelligence extends into text prediction, dictation, and even app suggestions. Your keyboard adapts to how you write, not just the words you use but the rhythm of your sentences. Dictation understands pauses better. App suggestions are based on real usage patterns instead of time-based guesses. Everything feels more intentional. Privacy remains central to all of this. iOS 26.2 increases on-device processing, meaning more data stays on your phone. Even intelligent features rely less on cloud servers. Apple continues to double down on the idea that smart devices don't need to compromise user privacy, and this update reinforces that commitment in meaningful ways. Messages in iOS 26.2 feel more stable and responsive. Group chats load faster, media previews appear more quickly, and message syncing across devices is more reliable. Apple has also improved spam filtering without being overly aggressive. Important messages are less likely to get buried, while unwanted ones are quietly filtered out. The Photos app sees a major improvement in search and organization. You can now search using natural language in a way that actually works. Descriptions like photos from last winter or pictures of food with friends produce surprisingly accurate results. This makes large photo libraries easier to navigate and turns the Photos app into a genuine memory tool rather than a cluttered archive. Focus modes have become smarter and less manual. Instead of constantly asking you to turn them on or off, iOS 26.2 learns when to suggest changes based on location, time, and behavior. Notifications are filtered more accurately, helping you stay focused without completely disconnecting from what matters. Gaming performance benefits from improved resource management. Frame rates are more stable, overheating is reduced, and controller latency is lower. Even casual gamers will notice smoother sessions, while serious mobile gamers will appreciate the consistency during longer playtimes. Accessibility improvements continue to set Apple apart. iOS 26.2 expands customization options for text, sound, motion, and touch. These changes don't just help users with specific needs. They make the system more adaptable for everyone. Flexibility is the core theme here. If you've made it this far, comment below and tell me which iOS version you upgraded from. I read the comments, and your feedback helps shape future videos. One of the most underrated changes in iOS 26.2 is how apps behave in the background. Apps now synchronize updates in smarter batches, reducing unnecessary wake-ups. This leads to fewer crashes, lower battery drain, and a system that feels stable even under heavy use. It's a foundational change that improves everything else. What makes iOS 26.2 special isn't any single feature, it's the harmony between them. The system feels cohesive. Your iPhone feels like it's working with you instead of around you. Apple didn't reinvent the iPhone with this update, they refined it. So is iOS 26.2 worth installing? If you value smooth performance, longer battery life, better privacy, and an iPhone that feels more intelligent over time, then yes, absolutely. This is the kind of update that defines the future without making noise about it. If this video helped you understand iOS 26.2 on a deeper level, don't forget to share it with someone who loves tech, and subscribe for more long-form content like this. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.